Does music or even the creative process of making music, does it have a cinematic quality for you? Do you
Yeah,
imagine?
absolutely.
Every song, yeah, very visual, like a daydream, where you
Okay.
close your eyes and you kind of like your own little movies and or your own little scenes. I think we have a
Yeah.
lot of those when we write because we feel what the song, what the beat or the instrument or two things put together makes you feel. Like our song "Howling at the Moon." I mean, it's named "Howling at the Moon" because it feels like you're in a desert and during sunset, and you're running with wolves, and or you're hunting with wolves, and you feel the brightness of the moon and the dryness of the air, and just all these things that we see and feel when we
Yeah.
hear a specific sample, for
Right.
instance, for that song.
Yeah, I mean, we would come up with imaginary scenarios and imaginary movies and talk about it while we're writing.
Yeah.
And we still do. So it's like this is like how I envision this song to look like, and that's a big part of our writing process.
So when kind of things started up again for three,
Yeah.
did you discuss beforehand what kind of image you had for the album, what you wanted, or does that happen during the course of
I think for this album, it happened during the course of it, because of certain situations that some tragedy that we dealt with,
Right.
and other situations kind of shaped the record the way it is. But we definitely go into making albums with different like modus operandi. It's like, oh, it's gonna be like, this is how we want it to be and like feel, but like you have to abandon that and just start writing and working, and then it works itself out, you know.
Sure.
Because like
You
if
can't
you
plan too
come in
much.
with a mission statement, it's like
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for just not failure, but you're setting yourself up for something that's unrealistic, you know.
Right.
So like it starts to happen naturally once we start creating.
You mentioned, well, the personal tragedy that kind of happened before making the album.
Yeah.
Did that influence the tone of the album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely it influenced the tone of the album and the artwork and everything. The light show. I mean, you won't see the light show that we normally have in the States, but yeah, it's all around that kind of
Is it then?
scenario.
Is it difficult to kind of use that personal, very personal thing into your art? Is it?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's cathartic and therapeutic and beautiful. We consider it. We see it as a beautiful tragedy. I mean, the album is about heartbreak. It's not about just this one thing that happened
Sure.
to us, but it's about heartbreak and overcoming it and kind of standing forward and moving forward and on and upwards. It's very dark, but it's a very dark record. But it's also very there's light that you can find.
About persevering through these difficult times, you know.
Yeah, this element of hope, is that important to have to not have to
It
kind of
is.
create a balance?
I think so. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it. I think it is important. That's kind of it's a hard thing to be able to
Sure.
incorporate both, because you don't want it to just be a one-sided thing. I think Phantogram in general we have a lot of different sides and a lot of different meanings and a lot of different ways of looking at things. So that's what this record represents too.
I want to talk about a couple of, well, maybe just one song, but you mentioned the images that songs and the music kind of conjure up. So I was wondering what that image was for Run Run Blood.
Yeah, Run Run Blood, in the dark.
I mean, Well, Roma and Blood has kind of a paranoid,
Yeah.
a feeling of paranoia, and also like the state of affairs that we're living in these days. Just kind of trying to get through everything and remain resilient
Yeah.
through dark times.
Yeah. I see it. I see it as, yeah, in the dark. Something's chasing you. You don't know what it is, and you're going faster and faster and faster, and then right at that middle part of the song, when it kind of just like it's the beat cuts out.
Right.
You're jumping off of a cliff.
Yeah, or like you're at the end of the cliff and you're like...
Or you're jumping off of a cliff and then all of a sudden it's slow motion and you're falling, but it's light. It's not dark at the bottom, kind of like the opposite of what I guess a cliff would be. And you're just falling down. That's what I see.
You mentioned the cathartic element of music earlier. So does it help writing? Does it help you make sense of the world around you and kind of your experiences?
Yeah, it does, in a way, but it's also more of a place to, I guess, write how you feel about what's happening, even if you don't understand it. You know, I don't think you're supposed to understand everything, and that's where writing music or writing lyrics can be that platform of where I don't know what to do with this thought, I don't know what to do with this emotion, and I don't know what to do with this situation, but I can write it down, and I know that people can relate, I guess, even if you don't completely understand it.
In that sense, then, when you look back at certain songs you've written over the years, and maybe even the album, I don't know how much separation it has been, but do you rediscover things in your songs? Maybe, this was what I was thinking, or this was what I was feeling?
Yeah. I think our lyrics and the content of what we do changes sometimes even on a daily basis when we're performing it live. Sometimes you figure you learn different things about what you may have meant, or the meaning changes.
Yeah.
Can you give me one example of a song on 3 that had this effect on either of you?
For me, the song Destroyer kind of changes its meaning each night. It's like sometimes I think about the tragedy that occurred in our life and relate it to that, and sometimes I'm completely just in my own head and I feel that feeling, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in general, I mean, Same Old Blues is is mostly about our tragic event, but you can really tie it in and relate to whatever you want, whatever's happening, because it's so open-ended. So for that song is, you know, changes meaning for me.
Finally, then, earlier on you mentioned in the beginning the ambition was to go as far as you could.
Yeah.
Where on that trajectory, so to say, do you think you are now?
I think in the States we're getting there. Like, we're playing much larger shows to thousands of people a night, and we're trying to break ground in Europe, and it's still fun, and we love playing smaller venues like this, but we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to keep doing it. But we do it because we love it, too. So whether it's, I mean, I'm just really happy that we get to do this. Being in Phantogram has allowed us to travel and see the world and do what we love for a living, and it's great.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.